What's up, guys? So, my name is Jonathan, aka Stretch. I'm one half of the co-founders of the Snacks and Stretch show that you're watching here on YouTube. Snacks actually told his story and it basically challenged me or convinced me without actually convincing me to do my story. So, here goes. I was born on a Wednesday, just like Snacks was, August 11th, 1993. Feels like forever ago, but you know, it was only 31 years ago, whatever. I was born in a Christian home. My parents were, my mom was just your normal girl, but my dad was a pastor's boy, so we know where that goes. So I was raised in church from the get-go, from day one of my life. Well, maybe not day one, because I came a couple weeks early, so I had to stay in the hospital for, I think, like 3 days or something. So day 4 of my life, I was pretty much in church. Went to church every day, every Sunday. Every time the doors were open, technically, because I went Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. My church used to have singings, so we'd do that like 5th Saturday of the month. So I was there for that. We would do like visitations, go knocking door to door, spreading the word of Jesus. We haven't done either of those in a long time. But my parents got into the world and kind of backslid a little bit, got out of church. So they sent me and my brother to church with my grandparents, who just so happened to conveniently live right down the road from us, like 3 or 4 or 5 houses. So we'd walk down to Mama and Papa's house and ride with them to church, or they'd come up to the house and pick us up. So that was good. Me and my brother were praying for my parents to get back in church because we knew that's where they needed to be. Papa taught us that from the get-go. If you're not in church, you're wrong. If you're in church, you're still a sinner, but you're getting fed the word of Jesus Christ. So that went on for a good long while. I got into high school, started jumping from girl to girl, trying to find the one, per se. I'm sorry for this. I don't have a stand yet. But anyway, so my dating life has started. Freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't really worried about it. I wasn't even wanting to be in school. I was more so that guy that was like, not wanting to date, but wanting to be with somebody, if you catch my drift. Junior year comes around and a girl comes to church with my uncle and my cousins, I guess. We hit it off. We started dating. We dated for about 9 months, and then I lost my virginity, obviously way before wedlock. So that's strike numero uno. Me and that girl dated another 4 or 5 months. I think we were together for like a year, or close to it. High school graduation. So that was the end of junior year. Senior year, I'm still with this girl. Get to graduation and I proposed to her because I didn't feel like I deserved to be with anybody else because of the fact that I lost my virginity. Find out that she cheated on me. Long story short, I break it off with her, and then my fun begins. I start into college, ITT Tech. Was doing that, trying to go for a bachelor's an associate's in drafting and design. I failed a class because I was too focused on other things like girls, partying. So the next semester comes up and I had to change my major. I think it was electronics, something to do with electronics. same thing there. Still too focused on girls and partying, so I failed another class. And then I had the bright idea of, you know what? Let's go into the military. So I talked to my cousin who just recently retired from the Coast Guard, and he's like, "Yeah, you should totally sign up for the Coast Guard or go into the Coast Guard." And I was like, "Well, maybe." So me and my mom, we take a trip up to Virginia to visit my cousin and his wife. He shows me around the Coast Guard base that he worked at, and I was like, "Dang, this is cool." So let's do that. So when I get back home, I contact the nearest Coast Guard recruiter, which was, I think, in Georgia. I take a practice ASVAB for him. He basically called me back and said, "Hey, just so you know, you might want to study for the ASVAB a little bit better. You didn't quite score high enough to get in." I was like, "Okay, well, dang, that's fine." So I feel like a failure there. So then I get more into partying and jumping from girl to girl. I get introduced to marijuana. I tried coke a couple times, but whatever. I was also a heavy drinker. So there's that. Obviously I'm underage because I'm like 19 or 20. But I'm with a couple of girls that treat me wrong, give me ultimatums. It's either her or other people. There's another girl who I'm just infatuated with, but whatever. Fast forward to 2015. I'm working at Arby's at this point. I meet my now wife, and we start talking because I just needed a friend because I was going through it. We start talking, just friends, and she makes that very clear. "Hey, I don't want to date you, so don't try anything crazy. I'm just your friend." So we hang out a couple times. We hang out a couple more times. I'm still trying to get with my ex, who I was just absolutely infatuated with for whatever reason. But obviously that doesn't work out. So I take time, a little bit of time, not a lot, for myself. I quit my job at Arby's. I go to Lowe's. By this point, I've already signed the dotted line of going into the Marine Corps. I talked to a recruiter the year before I quit Arby's, and I signed the line. I was going to the PTs. I was supposed to have gone to boot camp in 2014, December of 14. But obviously I had marijuana in my system, so I had to burn that off, and then that pushed my ship date to a later time. November of 15, actually. So I was in the delayed entry program for a year, which is unheard of. So I meet Caitlin, my now wife. September, we were hanging out and we were friends for a few months. I want to say July is when we actually met. I want to say. Maybe it was a little bit before that. But we start dating in September. Officially dating in September. September 12th, 2015, actually, I do believe. Maybe before that, because September 12th is when I proposed to her. That's what it was. She tried to run away, but I finally got a yes out of her. So we were engaged for September, October, 3 months, and then I ship off to boot camp for the Marine Corps. I graduate in January 29th, 2016. I come home, we get married on January 31st. So things are going great now. I've got all this drug stuff in the past because I can't do that in the Marines. But I'm still in the world. I can still drink because that's what Marines do, apparently. We drink, we party. Not living the lifestyle of a Christian man. I do some things against Caitlin that I'm not proud of. I wish I didn't do, but it is what it is. 2018, I deploy for 6 months. I come home in 2019, and I'm like, wow, that was cool. Awesome. I'm now a corporal in the Marine Corps, so there's that. 2020, I re-sign for another 4 years, and I get my orders to my next duty station, which is, I went from Jacksonville, North Carolina, basically Camp Lejeune / MCAS New River. I get my orders to Charlotte, North Carolina, to the Reserve Center as an active duty personnel member. So 2020, I think that was August when we moved there. So August 2020, we moved to Charlotte. We take a little bit of time while I'm not checked or not a part of the unit yet to basically get familiar with the area. We find some friends that we knew from Jacksonville. It was actually the brother of one of the guys we went to church with in Jacksonville. The Kavanaughs, if you know them, they're a big part of my life. But we meet Drew and Kim, and they say, hey, you should go to this church with us. And we're like, all right, cool. We tried that for, I think, 1 or 2 Sundays. It just didn't feel right, you know? But then I remember Will talking about Wesley Shell, and I'm like, hey, we could go visit his church. It's new, and see how that goes. So we go, we meet them. They were cleaning up an elementary school, you know, doing like a ministry, cleaning up the elementary school there before the church actually opened. We went to day 1 of the Harrisburg or Multiply Church Harrisburg. We went to Multiply Concord for a couple weeks before that, and then they opened the doors in Harrisburg, and we're like, all right, so now we're going here. Fantastic people, great service. I was just kind of there behind the scenes. I get asked if I want to do security, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I'm doing the security thing, and then I find out there's softball that we play, and I'm like, I'm a guy, I love sports, let's do that. Let's get into the softball thing. So I'm playing softball. I think it's 2021 now. Playing softball with Harrisburg. We play great. We're having fun. We're spreading the love of Jesus to the community with softball. Go figure. And then Daniel Mullis comes over after we played against his team. Him and Wes made that bet that he talked about in his story. So Daniel Mullis comes over. We just hit it off great. For lack of better terms, there's a reason why he's my best friend now. Just say that. I wasn't very good at playing softball, but I was doing my very best. If I swung out hard. I'm swinging for the fences every time. I swung out so hard you could hear the wind off my bat every flipping time. So I'm doing that, and then the end of my Marine Corps career comes to an end in 2023. So a little history of my marriage real quick. Me and Caitlin have been trying for kids since pretty much day 1 of our marriage. That's what we knew what we wanted. We knew what we wanted. We were trying, but Caitlin had some health issues that wouldn't allow her to. So 2018, 2019, one of those, she gets a promise from God that he will make us parents. And we all know that God holds on to promises. My eyes, I say, okay, well, God's holding on to this promise, but he's not doing it. So 2023 comes around, and that's still weighing on my mind. Like, we want to be parents so bad, but we're not. We've been married for 7 years, almost 8 years now. Actually, it was, almost 8 years. We still don't have any kids. So December of 2023 comes around. Well, I guess November technically. November 11th, Veterans Day of 2023 comes around. It's my last day in Charlotte. We have a turkey bowl with Daniel and some of the other guys from church. Played flag football. That was fantastic. We played it in the rain. Never would have thought of that, but that was fun. One heck of a time. So we do that, and then I drive back to my hometown of Coreyton, Tennessee. I'm home. Things are great. February comes around. We find out we're pregnant. So there's that. So we're doing this pregnancy thing. It's very hard. August comes around and we're told that our baby is coming. He wasn't due for another 10 weeks. So he came 10 weeks early. 3 pounds, 4 ounces. I was scared to death. I was like, oh my God, he's too small. He shouldn't be here yet, but here he is. Fast forward, we're in the NICU for 44 days. Landon finally gets to come home. I'm still trying to do my own thing, living in the world, backsliding, going forward, backsliding, going forward. And then February comes around again. It's now 9 years married. We find out we're pregnant again. And now here we are today. I've got little to no friends in Tennessee. I've got the very few that I can name. I've got my family here. I've got a long distance friendship with Daniel, which is phenomenal because I didn't think that would ever work, but it does. Obviously this isn't my whole entire story because we don't have time for that. But that's the gist of it on just that. So here we are. It's June 5th, 2025. We're 19 weeks deep in this pregnancy. Symphony Rain is due in October. We've got Vacation Bible School starting this Sunday, so that's going to be fun. Things are great, and Daniel and I are trying to get this show started, but it's hard because long distance makes things difficult, but we're working on it. We're trying, we're getting it. It's coming soon, but here's my story. My name is Jonathan, aka Stretch, from the Snacks and Stretch Show. I love y'all, and I can't wait to do the show with Daniel and spread sports news, the name of Jesus, and bringing power to the name of, or to the word of family. Peace out, y'all.